intro music. Yeah! Woohoo!
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today I want to have an honest discussion with you, with the devs, and everything else. First, real quick, thanks to everybody who keeps reaching out about the mental health issues, about the issues with my family and my son's health, with him going to the doctor, everything. I greatly appreciate that. And right now, good. Son's back home, so all that's fine. But what I want to do today is talking about the time in game, specifically the need to update older mechanics. I'll talk about some of the ideas that I've presented to the devs and game design, as well as go into a little bit more deeper detail over why this is a need, but also understanding the balance that you have to find as a game company with new players, not just tossing away old content, but finding a way to expedite that process to bring in new content. But right now, what we have is literally all content is kind of all players. And another thing that Scopa doesn't want is content that they want to be relevant being completely ignored. An example of content that's completely irrelevant but completely ignored is the Borg stuff. So like if we go over to ROM space, over here you see these little 33 systems they added, which, by the way, thank you. Level 50 plus players don't care about this. The rewards are trash. We were promised an update to that way back in 2021. We were going on about, what, 20 months since the promised update has never happened. But what we really want to focus on besides all that is how much time does it take you as the average player to play this game? Actually, this is your opportunity right now. Sidebar right here. Let me know your average time to complete everything. I'm going to go through all mine. If I had to do everything I needed to do in a day, I'm going to add it up for you. We're going to start with the easy way by going to the dailies. This is the quickest one. Now we're going to ignore things like power creep and research projects because those are just kind of part of your process. But I will talk about Alliance Solidarity. Alliance Solidarity, getting all 50 helps, sure, not the big a deal, but I will say you need to be in game at least 30 minutes to an hour for you've got enough opportunities to get all of those done. Doesn't mean that you can't do it, just that's our starting point. So at least an hour. But let's talk about grinding levels. Hostile hunting, fine, blah, that's what we'll get to that. Away teams, easy, refresh, but if you go through your away teams every day and you do the strategies to be efficient and launch through these, you're going to spend 5 to 10 minutes a day going through that. So we're going to start with 5. Remember, 5 minutes. We're going to go with minimums here because I feel like minimums are fair. We can very easily argue more. And while I'm here, I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to throw some in. Here, for basic mission, get started. Me just going through, clicking through, bam, getting them going. But I mean, the goal is every 4, 8, 12-hour mission you want to always be running. Try to always run your rainbow missions. Like this is critical for me to get these credits. But that's at 5 minutes so far, just to get through our away teams and do our stuff. All right, faction allegiance is part of your hostile grinding. So let's just keep scrolling. Prime real estate, no big deal. Acting, we'll get into that a little bit later. But juicing someone, not gonna count as a time crunch. No time crunch. All right, let's finally start getting into the grind level here. So hitting 25 hostiles. We're going to include that in with hitting our regular hostiles, which are your main dual faction grinding that you should be doing. Travel times, including travel times and hitting. Now, where's my math coming here? Let's just say if you're in D space, my travel time, D space, whether you've got super highway conduits, etc. We're talking about the average player, you and me, level 35 to 45, where most of the game is currently at. Travel times minimum of 5 minutes. One way. Minimum if you're doing like a D space. Now you could choose to relocate there. That then is a relocation, so it doesn't really count to what we're doing. But then to actually grind, you're going to, because the way the hostile systems work, they spawn in various points. If you wait, you're going to kill a hostile, let's say an average of 1 every 10 to 15 seconds. That's just kind of a reasonable average. So you're going to do that 25 times. We're going to say roughly you need 10 to 15 minutes, to then go and complete your faction daily. That's assuming they're both on the same side. Now we need to add another 10 minutes into that to include your travel time. So we're 25 minutes so far to go through our away teams and do our faction dailies. Now we got swarms. Now I do love the Franklin that came through, and the Franklin gives me a ×3 bonus. So I can actually get through them a little bit quicker. But even with that, I still got to kill a lot. So you come down here, I've got the 25. So divide that by 3. I've got to kill 9 because it's not a regular number for whatever reason. It's kind of a little weird there. And if I want to be ultra efficient, I've got to change systems and actually go down to the lower systems where the max is 65. Even with the ×3 bonus, I'm still killing, what, 22 hostiles. So with all that, with me killing about 15 a second, we're going to go another 35-ish minutes to do that if we're doing it efficiently as possible. Now, if you choose to just kill the 44s, if I was me, all in all, you could probably save about 20 minutes of that. But that means that you potentially cost yourself a whole health. You potentially get yourself into a snag. That's 1 hour so far just to do some basic dailies in a mobile game. If you're following along, let me know. Also join the Twitch channel. We've been talking about this a lot on Twitch, and I just feel like we haven't talked about it enough. So I'm looking off screen right here so I can get my calculator back up. So that's that. Mining is passive, still has to be done. Still something to send out. We're going to just give you a 5 minutes for mining. That's just for doing this mining, by the way. This does not count any of your other things. Cloaking, I'm not going to count. But to complete your mining, it is passive, so we won't talk about too much. But I have different types of mining that I've got to do. I've got to do mining for this over here. Yeah, I got to do that. Because right now, there's events going on. Path to Profit. Damage Armadas. Yesterday's Path to Profit, which I probably should have kept up, is we had to change in or exchange those metals. Is it still up on the board? It is. The briberies. We had to go mine those materials. We had to change them in. And we had to mine latinum. And we had to get bribes. Good payouts. That's not the point. Point was, you need to constantly mine this every day. Why? Because it's part of a refinery. So again, another 5 minutes just to count swapping out the ship to go tell it to mine something else. Let's get into the newer, bigger, ugly grind. The Borg is an everyday thing that you've got to do. Why? Because it has a refinery. Another 20 minutes. Now, why am I counting 20 minutes? It doesn't take too long to fill up your cargo, but you need to continue to do this unless you're getting that collective bargaining away team, which just feels like, maybe it's just me, we've been talking about this a lot on the Discord, it feels like that collective bargaining is just not happening near as often as it used to. So we got to go mine Borg because it's part of a refinery. We got to do it. We got to do it. We got to do it because we need the independent credits. We need the active nanoprobes to upgrade these Borg officers. So we have to do this. It's another 20 minutes in the game. Speaking of refinery, let's talk the Mantis. Mantis currently a massive grind in the game. Brand new, just added. This is easily for most players, even using the meta, going after the Apex hostile is another 30 minutes. And we're really still not even including too much grind time in terms of travel times here. I'm trying to be lenient because these are more in independent and low level systems. So we're ignoring travel times. I'm not even telling you where we're at real quick, but I've got it on the calculator and I will put the calculator on the screen towards the end. So Mantis being something that we've got to do. Resources, that's part of our swarms. So we got that, no big deal. Support, well, that's once a week, anomalous phenomenon. This is easy, takes like 5 minutes. Wednesdays, those Cerritos is part of your grind. You do have to do a little bit of extra. Amalgam, when you got to do the amalgam plunder every few days, once a month for me, not too bad. I'm not going to include it. I'm going to try to be fair in this argument. Territory mining though, there's 3 different types that you got to do. And I'm going to add plus 15, one for each type, just for you switching them out, getting a node, selecting them. We're not counting if you get blown up on the node, have to go put it back. None of that. Not even bothering with that. Now let's talk about another grind that you got to do. Oh boy, there's more. But wait, there's more. You got to go grind these. Now, sometimes there's events for them, and you could maybe have saved up quite a bit, but you need to go fill up your Stella Cargo, and that's going to run you, well, another 20 minutes or so to go do your Stella Cargo and make sure that you got your Stella done, what you need to do. So 20 minutes for Stella Cargo fill up, especially if you got that prime Stella Cargo. Now, it helps out that we have all these things that make it a little bit easier. And granted, they have tried to make that grind a little bit simpler. That's not even including the armadas that you need to do, by the way. And let's speak of armadas that you need to do, by the way, and talk about Cardassians, the new Cardassian meta, which I actually do like, and then the new grind for the Dominion space for the Bajor faction is another, again, 30-minute grind, because their update did not actually improve the grind rate. All it did was make it to where you can do it in one haul. So it did save you a little bit in travel time. So I'll keep the travel time off there. The only thing that I kept is a long travel time in our little math here is for most players at 35, 45 starting in that D space area where travel times cost more. But we could say travel time for any of this be 5 to 20 minutes worth total there and back. Now, these are the major grinds in the game. I've not included mining data, which still needs to be done. You still got to mine data. I prefer to do that once or twice a month just to get a big stockpile and go with it. Now that there's a bonus refinery every single month, thank you, by the way, Star Trek Fleet Command, I do have to make sure that I'm mining every single day something. I'm mining something. So like right now, this dock is my mix between running the crew for my discovery and my miner. And then I'm always sending it out to mine something. Doesn't matter what it is, it's got to go mine something because of where we're at in the game. So I'm just going to come over here and say, hey, pick a 4-star system. And let's see, warp range, warp 65. I picked the wrong one. I think I need to pick the Antares. Antares has a better warp range. There we go. Antares should be able to get there. And there we go. So 5-minute warp flight time, by the way. So all of these things are just constantly needed in the game. And a lot of the stuff we're talking about is older mechanics. Borg is old mechanics. Swarms is old mechanics. And honestly, swarms are not even worth doing for a lot of people, even after the biotics update, especially 50 plus. You've got the Eclipse mechanic that needs to be updated. And one of the suggestions I made was to use these dailies we looked at earlier. And I'm really open for y'all to provide this because I'll put them in the comment section and we'll show the dev team. One thing that I said is, hey, what if you had a daily that was run one Eclipse Armada? So the fun part of Eclipse, run an Eclipse Armada with your alliance, and the reward was 80% of whatever your level was with that faction, getting 80% of that in keys. Now for me, I need about 120,000 at partner to turn in. So what if it gave me 100,000 of that? I'd still have to go grind, but that 20-minute grind now became a 5-minute grind. So it still incentivizes you to actually be active and go out and do those things, but not to the high degree. Those who've been curious this entire time, how long this actually takes, like what's our magic number, like what's our pain point? Do you really want to see what our number adds up to? Really don't want to show it to you. Just to get everything done, 185 minutes. For those bad at math, it's 3 hours a day in a mobile game. 21 hours a week. 80 hours a month. You're basically spending 1,000 hours a year in this game to do the minimum. That doesn't count running armadas with your alliances. Doesn't count your events that you got to do, your dailies you track, the battle pass, which sometimes there's overlap there. So that doesn't always guarantee that that is more. If you truly are trying to do what the game is set, because some of these old metas have not been updated. I didn't even talk about grinding for Devore parts, and I sure as heck didn't even talk about how there's no free-to-play path to the Mantis yet. I mean, the problem with this game is a lot of the old stuff has not been sped up in a way, expedited in a way to make it valuable to new players and all players. And you're running into a problem where there's so much to do that people are frustrated. And I think that frustration is understandable, but the key is to get the game to see that. And that's why I spent 15 minutes in this video going point by point by point. It literally takes me, and if you watch my streams, you see it. It takes me my 2-hour to 3-hour stream every day to finish most of my stuff, and I don't even finish it on stream. Like my Mantis grinding. When's the last time I did that? I have started to skip that, but the game doesn't want me to skip new content, right? I would think the game doesn't want me to not be doing the Mantis, but I haven't done a Mantis pull in a week. I don't have time. I'm over in Dominion space. 3 hours. At max, your dailies need to be 30 to 60 minutes for these type of games. And then you build the extra eyeball time through your event structure, the fun stuff, running armadas with your group, PvPing with your group, any of that stuff. But right now, the time in game is just ridiculous. And until that's fixed, well, this content creator is just going to tell you, it's tough. But I'm really curious to see what everybody else thinks. If you agree with what I say, please like, subscribe, share this out with your alliance and your friends, and we'll show this to the dev team, and hopefully they like it. Hopefully they listen. Hopefully they go, you know what? Y'all are right. We'll see. Deuces, that's me. Live long and prosper. Stay safe for the Space Cowboys. Catch you on the next one. We're out.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.